All right, welcome, Hawks. Hey,
Woo!
exciting. I know Miss Brian and I are super excited. We're going to talk to you again in a fun, entertaining video. I think we're getting really good at these, right? Like we should have our own YouTube.
Yes, we're nailing it.
No, we're going to do a YouTube channel. This is going to be amazing. Anyways, we're going to spend some time talking about the full return that is going to be here on April 26th. We're so excited. Everybody's coming back full day like we were before COVID. And there's a couple of things we do need you to be aware of. Some health and safety guidelines. We want to make sure you understand, the same things we've been doing, but important to continue to enforce. And then some changes that are going to be impactful for you. So lots of information. Hang on tight. We're going to try to do this in about 10 to 15-minute video. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay. Well, let's start with what's going to be the same as we've been doing in hybrid. Do you want to start, Ms. Bryant, with some of the safety and health procedures we're going to keep doing?
So, just as we have been, we are going to continue wearing masks at all times in the building and in between classes outside. And that does mean over your nose all the way. We sent out some videos of how-tos on that. We have a cute little "Don't Be Nosy" campaign. So if you see me do this or say "Don't be nosy," I'm just going to pull those up. We want to maintain the similar hand washing protocols. That 20 seconds hot water with soap. Sanitizer will be available in all classrooms inside and out. Distancing looks a little bit different because it's not 6 feet, it's 3 feet, but we do want to keep that healthy distance. So now instead of 2 arms lengths, you can be 1. But that
There
includes
is still, and I know we're going to get to it when we get to the lunches, but the 6 feet will still apply in certain situations like lunch and stuff. So we'll talk about that.
yeah, unmasked for sure.
Yep.
And then we don't want to forget the traffic flow. So we have those awesome stickers on the ground with the arrows that DreamLab helped us print up and get out there. So be mindful of those. I know sometimes it feels silly, but especially when we're doubling our capacity, we want to be really careful about that. And then lastly, we are maintaining the entering of the Sager building classrooms from the outside.
Yep. And so those of you that have Mr. Crosby or Miss Hill, you're going to continue to go and enter in from the exterior instead of going down the Sager Hall, which is still off limits as we try to make sure the high school and the middle school students don't have any potential exposures to each other. Oh, there's the bell. Look, we're in class. Okay, so thank you for sharing what's going to be the same. Let's talk a little bit about some things that might be different. One of the things that's going to be different is our entry procedures, in the sense that every time you come in through those still 2 doors, the main office door, if you're being dropped off in the morning, or if you're a walker, bike rider, etc., and the cafeteria doors, if you get dropped off as a bus rider, or if you're a student driver. We're still going to ask student drivers to come enter in through that door. You're going to get your daily temperature checked, just like we've been doing in the hybrid setting. What's going to be different is that we're not going to have you show us your phone and show us that you did your attestation. Instead of doing that, we're going to do attestations every 2 weeks, which I have up here the dates we're going to do it. April 22nd, which is when we're still in hybrid. But then May 6th, May 20th, June 3rd. You don't need to memorize those dates. But on those dates during Hawk time, again, we'll talk about that in a second when we get to the bell schedule, we're going to be having everybody in the school do their attestations at that time.
Yeah,
I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Things that we want you to bring to school in the full return, okay? Our water fountains are still going to be kind of plastic bagged off so that we're not sharing our use of the water fountains. But we will allow you to bring in a water bottle, and you can still fill up your water bottle at the water bottle filling stations. So excited about that. And if you need a water bottle, see Miss Bryant or I. We do have some water bottles we can get people if they're needing one.
for sure.
It's also important that you bring your device every day. So we are going to still use the technology that we've been given to you in your one-to-one device, and we're going to want your Chromebooks, your laptops to come with you to school every day like you've been doing in the hybrid. Just continue to do that. And you absolutely can bring your own lunch. We're going to talk about lunch here in a second, but you're still allowed to bring your own lunch. All right, the bell schedule.
Yes, and I'm stealing this one because I'm super excited.
Go for it. Yes, walk us through it.
this is pre-COVID, what we were going to be able to have the opportunity to do. We're going back to our block schedule with a twist. So we will have our Monday, Wednesdays with our odd classes, 1, 3, 5, Tuesday, Thursday, 2, 4, 6. And you can see here on the screen, you know, they're a little bit longer with a little bit more transition in between. And then we have our Friday late starts where you get to see all 6 teachers. I'm super excited because this opens up a lot of opportunities to get back to our roots and some fun projects and learning in that way. But along with that, I also want to remind you about like attendance. And now that we are a full return, if you are an in-person learner, it is like every other year. If you are not here, if you're not going to be here, if you wake up late, anything like that, like you have to communicate that through your guardian to the office. So I know right now there's been some leeway where you could like, oh, I woke up late, so I'm going to join live learning. That no longer exists. Your guardian needs to call the office.
Yep, absolutely. And we're really, I mean, one of the things we do want you to be aware of is like, for the last year, Ms. Bryant, right? But essentially the last year, even though we've said you have school at the times when you're not in here, really, I think we all know that students were really limited to about 3 hours a day of school. And now we're jumping to 6, 7 hours. We understand that that could be a big change to your routines, and our teachers are aware of that as well. And so we're not jumping you into 2 hours of straight up content, note taking for 2 hours, that type of thing, right? That does not sound fun for anybody. So it is going to be a slow roll. We're going to do some different activities in your classes, and with only 3 classes a day, it should help build up that stamina, right? We're really about building up some stamina in these next 6 to 7 weeks so that when we come back in the fall, when we come back all together in full return in the fall, we remember what it's like for a little bit here to go to school from 8 to 3. Hawk time, you'll see here down at the end, students, there's 30 minutes of Hawk time. That is something new. We didn't have that before COVID, but we had planned to have that if had COVID not happened. And really, we'll talk about it more, but it's tied to your 5th and 6th period class, which means you just naturally roll right into Hawk time. You don't get up and go somewhere. You don't have a new teacher. For you juniors and seniors that remember when we used to have advisory, remember how you go to a different advisory teacher? That's not the case in Hawk time. We're just earmarking 30 minutes at the end of the day for teachers to be able to connect with you if they beckon you, if they summon you, if they take the initiative to work with you on how to meet with them to get a reassessment done. Maybe you missed some notes. Maybe they just want to work with you in a small group. They're going to do that during that Hawk time setting. Okay. It's also going to be a time where we're going to do some school-wide stuff. Those of you that have been doing Naviance in your English classes, we might start doing Naviance during Hawk time. You're going to be able to look up your grades, show your teachers that you're in good academic standing. We might do some like school-wide lessons around social emotional learning, some surveys that we have in May that are going to come out that we're going to do during Hawk time. And so stay tuned. We're going to be kind of learning together how to use this time, but we're excited about what this 30 minutes at the end of the day could mean for us.
For sure.
Okay, Fridays. Same as Fridays had been, right? We're going to get a late start in here. So, so students, just make sure you know that it's just like it was pre-COVID. School doesn't start until 9:15. Doors open up around 8:45, 8:50 on those days. So please do not arrive too early. And our doors open at 7:45 for our regular Mondays through Thursdays. So if you're a student driver or you get dropped off, please tell your rides not to arrive any earlier than 7:45. Our doors will be locked. You can hang out outside. I mean, the weather's not too bad at that point here in spring, but it could be raining on certain days. So 7:45 is when we want you to arrive. The big one. Should we talk about lunches? Go ahead, Ms. Bryant. You start us off. What are we doing with lunches?
Okay, so I've got some warm and fuzzy, and then I'm going to come in with the heat. But we know that at a fuller capacity, nearly 500 students, we are going to have to get creative with lunches. So one of the things that we were able to work together and decide is that we will have an open campus for all students, 9th through 12th grade. But with that comes another level of responsibility, which I'll get to in a moment. We will, of course, still provide lunch and space to eat lunch here on campus. We'll have a variety of areas. So we will have the commons. We will have an outdoor space with some tables that we got, stadium, this main hallway, the great hallway that runs through the school, as well as the bleachers in the Sager gym where we have our PE classes, so that we can make sure that we can fit all people safely, because this is an instance where 6 feet of distance is very important for safety. We will have our grab and go lunches will continue. And so it'll be like, we won't have the lines of yesteryear. It'll be a quick grab and go, so you'll have plenty of time to eat in that 40 minutes. You can see here where you have the kitchen window like normal, the foyer by Mr. Jessup's room, and then the intersection by Mr. Reardon's room here in the great hallway to grab those lunches.
Yeah, and I just want to interject and piggyback on the 6 foot is required here in the lunches, but so is being smart about how we use our masks during lunch. And one of the things that's important to remember is while you're eating, you're obviously not going to have your mask on, but when you're not eating, you know, that it's not 30 minutes where I get to take my mask off and I don't have to wear it anymore. If you're not actively like chewing, swallowing, consuming food, we are needing you to put your mask back on. So just remember that the mask is off only to really eat. When it's done, mask goes back on.
Excellent point.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and then breakfasts are also going to be grab and go, but they are going to be at the end of the day that you will take with you to have the next morning, which is what we've been doing. Okay, and then the last bullet point and the first bullet point kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion. We want to take pride in our campus. With more seating areas, more people being able to leave campus and bring outside garbage in, the more important it is that we are really mindful of that. We are getting more trash cans for the various areas, so please just help us out and put your trash in the trash. With sanitization protocols and more students in the building, like we're already going to be working really hard to keep things clean, and we need our students to be part of that solution. An additional place we're going to put a garbage can is by the fence near Walmart to help you with that, which leads to the off-campus opportunities and responsibility. Your lunch is bell to bell, 12 to 12:40, which means at 12:40, you have eaten your lunch and you are in your classroom ready to learn. I've talked to several of you over the past week or so about tardies and how COVID has kind of created its own pandemic of tardiness in our school. And I get it. The concept of time right now is elusive. But it's also really important that we understand that being in class is where you need to be when you need to be there. So expect a crackdown on tardies ranging from detention, letter writing, parent meetings, lunch cleanup. Might even have to spend a Saturday or two with me if you're real tardy. But we'll work together, of course, and just be there, be responsible, be on time, and use your lunchtime wisely.
Yeah, and I just want to iterate one more time, like, guys, we have a beautiful high school. It is a gorgeous campus. It is still a new high school. It looks new. We need to keep it that way. And we also need to make sure, like, we consider that we wear who we are. We're the Hawks right here at this school. And when we walk off campus to go to Walmart or Subway or Del Taco for lunch, we're still the Hawks. And your behavior over in those facilities reflects us as a school. And if we hear back from patrons of those institutions that our students aren't behaving over there, we're going to shut things down real quick, right?
Absolutely.
We're not going to allow the off campus. And you seniors, those of you that are doing it right, and this gets ruined by freshmen who are goofing off over there, like, you need to step up as leaders and make sure that this doesn't, we don't have to do anything that ruins it for everybody. Okay. So really be part of the solution and help us reflect what we are, which is great students. You know, Hawks are great people, and we're just going to reflect that when we're out on at lunches.
Yes, beautifully said.
Okay, transportation. So just a couple of reminders, students, that when you're on the bus, there's no social distancing, but the bus drivers are in charge. They're the teachers. Please follow their directions. They're going to be temp checking you on your way out as well. So we're going to kind of get those bus riders temp checked kind of twice, but also be really intentional about thinking through other modes of transportation. You can ride your bike or walk. It's gorgeous in the springtime, right? Like, get here in a different mode of transportation helps you stay safer and less close to people. We've talked about 7:45. Please don't arrive any earlier than that so that we can get our folks ready to go for the temp screens. And then if you're not sure what bus route to take, because you're a PN, like it's the same route, just check your Skyward bus information if you have any questions. All right. Or you can call the main office if you need to. We'll help you figure out the bus transportation. Okay, I think that was the last slide, Miss Bryant. And look, it's 15 minutes and 30 seconds, so we were just a little bit further than we want to. But again, we're excited that we're all going to be back here in full return. We're excited for us to focus on teaching and learning and all of the great stuff that's going to come with being back in person. But we wanted to make sure you're aware of the expectations and some of the changes that are happening. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your teachers, or you can come see us anytime, you know, when you see us in the hallways, before school, after school, or in our in the office area. So if that's all that you've got, that's all I've got. We'll say goodbye, and we're going to see you on the 26th. All right. Bye, everyone.